Hey guys, Misu here. Uh, Today I'm gonna teach you about sculpting. Now, sculpting is actually very simple. However, if you want to sculpt, you will need a really good computer in order to handle it. It's not for a potato computer, that is for certain. Now, what I'm gonna do, right, is that if I want to optimize it for sculpting, I will need to use the loop cut to set up for my mesh. As an example, I will do this many times. Now, take note of this. If you're wondering why there's no lines between here, that's because I'm using the mirror modifier. So keep note of that. If it looks weird, then that's probably the reason why. So, sculpting. It's not new to anyone, really. But how exactly would you sculpt, as an example? Well, gentlemen, I'm gonna teach you how. Excuse me. Right. Give me a moment. So, the first thing you want to do for sculpting is always, and I mean always, get your references. And I do mean it. Because without any references, you would be lost. And that's how we keep things in memories. Even professionals would use references as well. It's honestly nothing new. And don't mind about the muscles. They're there to keep me grounded, rather. If you're gonna ask me where I got it from, then I would hate it to break it to you, but I'm too tired to talk about that right now. Right, so, like what I was saying, references. Wait, no, I'm sculpting. So, there are two things, rather. Now, if you want to prepare your model for sculpting, there are two modifiers that you can use. The subdivision modifier, which is the more simple version of the multi-resolution modifier, although my preference is that I would rather use the multi-resolution. Now, for the multi-resolution, I'll tell you why. It's because it has more values, which are 3. So let's say, for example, I'm gonna make this like at least nearly 500,000 triangles or polygons. Now what this does, all it does, it tells the computer that, hey, can you please make this more detailed so that I can actually sculpt? The computer then says, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Now what I'm gonna do is the sculpt mode. Now, what's going to happen is you have all these tools, but each one has a different purpose. You can also notice that it also has the same settings for texture painting as well, and vertex painting. This is the radius. This simply just increases or decreases the size of your brush. For the strength tool, the strength for brush, all it does is control the input. So you can imagine it as a pencil, like how sharp your pencil you want it to be. So as an example, let's say I want to use the mesh symmetry in the y-axis. Now what this is going to do is I can do many things at once and it saves me time. Now, let's say for example I want to shape the abs as an example, the pecs rather. So, of course, there are two modes. One is the plus, and the other is the minus. Now, what that's going to do is either add the effect of the brush or remove it. For this purpose, I'm going to use the plus modifier because I need to do the pecs. So I use a saw here, and let me just correct the horizon geometry because that one is very important. Now, I want to do the pecs, right? Now, I'm going to set it to 40, 203. Now, of course, all this is really doing is, you may have noticed that, and I do mean it, you may have noticed that there's not much difference. Because in actuality, when you're sculpting, what you're doing is actually shaping your mesh. That's how it actually works. If I wanted to have more detail, there are many ways to do it. That much I can say. So, we can say this is how far we want to go, as an example. Now, this is the smooth tool. What this does is, rather than pressing the shade smooth as an option, instead of that, you can use it as a brush. So you can do this as an example. Now what that does is, well, you can probably tell it by now, it tries to smooth it out. And I'll keep doing this until I get the basic shapes right, as an example. So I'll increase the strength a bit. Then what I'm going to do is do the abs, or rather do the outlines of it. Now, I know this looks silly, but in reality this is how it actually works. Now, we have a bit of the shapes. Now we will smooth it again. And, well, it looks kind of bad, so you see. That's why we have the grab tool, so we can just, you could do this as an example. You could make har, whatever, you name it. You can also use a smooth tool to correct any errors as well. Now, moment of truth. This is a part of where usually I get to do things rather. Sorry, I don't have an animation. Sorry. So, this is the crease tool. You can probably tell what it is. It just creases stuff. And this is the draw. Oops. A mistake. Right. This is the draw one. These are the differences between drawing and creasing. Sorry. And this is draw sharp. It's a more rather sharp version of this one. Now, we're going to make the outlines. So, of course, we could do this. don't tell me to exactly copy what I do. It may look like a good idea to you, but not really. I wouldn't recommend it. So that's how you do it. Now I will attempt at the arm as well, just to demonstrate to you what his brush does. This one would sound like clots, like clothes. Scraping, blob, inflate, layer, clay tongue, clay strips, clay, brush sharp. The reason why it looks like this is because of the strength. Of course, you can also customize your strokes here, as well as your fall off. That's it for this tutorial for now. And I do apologize if I may seem bummed out. Have a nice day. Dismiss you. Signing off.